Hello and welcome to Global Review. I am Sachin Chaturvedi. We bring to you every week detailed analysis of what has happened in the last week, what are the key issues coming out for analysis. And this particular week was extremely interesting in terms of how the APEC summit for the first time had China and US fighting head-on. The person who gave the term frugal innovation, Mr. Grzegorz, who heads the operations with Renault, is now already arrested. That is another important news which is coming up at that level. But as always, let's have a look at the headlines first. Russia to open pound 3.42 billion LOC for Iran, supporting North-South corridor. Sweden-based technology group Hexagon supplies NATO program to China, same program that United States used in 2011 to locate Osama bin Laden. China's $292 billion in bad loans, 75 billion more than last quarter. New Russian heavy rocket Angara to be used to send missions to the moon. Germany halts all arms sales to Saudi Arabia, puts travel ban on 18 people. Integration between North and South Korea deepens further. North Korea destroys 10 guard posts. Kenya would host first global conference on sustainable blue economy. 180 countries to participate. Leaders of Asia-Pacific countries met in Papua New Guinea. As you would recall, in the last week's program, we discussed and promised to you to come back with more details on what the Paris peace process and the forum was. What was the idea of recalling World War I anniversary with global solutions? We have prepared a report and we would be discussing the details in our section Across the Globe. It's extremely interesting how Paris has tried to come forward with solutions to global issues just to mark the anniversary of World War I, the challenges that led to the war, and how at this stage contemporary challenges should be addressed heads on. Let's have a look at this report.
Held from 11th to 13th November 2018, the Paris Peace Forum, that is PPF, brings together global governance actors to discuss issues of transnational importance to achieve durable peace. The forum was hosted by the French government and attended by 65 heads of state and over 10 international organizations. The three-day forum initiated discussions on sustainable peace, digital policies, human security, climate change and multilateralism. The forum functions in three spaces wherein debates, solutions and innovations are brought to the fore. 121 projects were presented at the forum. India presented the Government of Andhra Pradesh's project on climate resilient zero-budget natural farming and the network of southern think tanks, which looks at the assessment of impact of development projects under South-South cooperation. Other projects include World Justice Project on data to combat torture and the World Benchmarking Alliance by Index Initiative. Global governance projects like the Environmental Pact or the International Solar Alliance was also featured, with the objective of evaluating these projects and initiatives and formulating recommendations for their implementation. Software initiative and projects focused on the challenge of financial transparency. The Government of Andhra Pradesh project was one of the 10 global governance solutions selected for a special support for 1 year. The Paris Peace Forum focuses on the idea that amid rising tensions, there is a need to strengthen and improve time-tested solutions and engage with various stakeholders, which will include states, international organizations, local governments, NGOs and foundations, companies, experts, journalists, trade unions, religious groups, and citizens. The forum was created for issues such as terrorism, climate change, tax evasion, migration, and cyber attacks, which require international cooperation.
Led by our Vice President Venkaiah Naidu, the Indian delegation participated actively in terms of contributing to this major Paris Peace Forum, where 65 other heads of the state participated. What are the key issues that were discussed? What is the way forward? Would it become a permanent forum? Would it be addressing global solutions in a way that we have never seen before in terms of bringing such a large scale of operations and actors together? To discuss these issues, we are joined in the studio today by Dr. Mazur from Poland. He teaches economics and business in Poland. And we are also joined in here by Deputy Director General of Palestinian International Cooperation Agency, Ms. Dima. We would be discussing with them. Let me start, Dr. Mazur, with you on how you look at the global solutions that are being discussed as part of remembering the anniversary and observing that of the World War I, where France, led by President Macron, decided to go ahead not in terms of any ritual at the World War I anniversary, but to pose the global challenges which may leave people behind, which may not help us move forward in terms of bringing sustainable development goals to the world. So the idea is what kind of solutions we can explore for global problems. How you view Paris Peace Forum?
So today we have a big problem with multilateral framework. In the times of growing nationalism, growing protectionism, global problems, we also need global replies. We have some multilateral forum, such as World Economic Forum or Munich Security Conference. But I think this Paris Forum is unique that it addresses the problems of development, of inclusive economy. In this sense, it might be a new quality. The problem with this forum might be that not all global actors are today interested in multilateral solutions. One of the most important problems that will be in answering if it will be a permanent forum or just accidentally is that one of the biggest players in the world is not strongly interested in.
And Dr. Mazur, how you see the possibility of G8 countries playing a leading role in terms of we all arriving at some of the challenges the world economy, as you referred to multilateralism, they are facing? Because we do not get an impression that G7 or G8, they are really a homogeneous entity anymore. The way Trump administration has gone and the transatlantic divide has emerged. What is your take on these developments?
So that's the problem today, that we don't even have the coherent reply from the North, let's say from G8 or G7, yes? Some countries are aware that we cannot solve our problems by ourselves only.
Yeah.
The problem, for example, with migration, illegal migration to Europe, that's not the problem that we can solve on our EU borders. That's the problem that must be solved in the south.
Yeah.
But there is a problem with coherent reply, coherent strategy, even within the group of the, let's say, northern countries. And as you mentioned, there is another challenge now in relations even over the Atlantic Ocean. That's after the Second World War, the North Atlantic unity was something natural in terms of politics, economy as well.
Yeah.
Now we do not speak with one voice, and that's a
huge
big
problem.
challenge.
That's
a big challenge.
Ms. Dima Alarqan, you come from a country which is very often in news for reasons which are more close to violence or conflict that your country is withstanding for many years, for people's voice and for exceeding with the ideas of freedom and self-assertion. Not many people and not many of our viewers would be aware of the fact that Palestine has come up with the idea of supporting fellow developing countries, and you already have established, and you are Deputy Director General of PICA, the Palestinian International Cooperation Agency. So before I request you to respond to the question that I posed to Dr. Mazur on issues related to the anniversary of First World War, how you see PICA in the times and the impressions that the world may have?
Actually, the creation of the Palestinian International Cooperation Agency is a reflection of a deep faith of the Palestinian government toward the global south as one of the countries in the south. This is first, and it's also a demonstration for the commitment that we do have toward the global south and the international community.
Yeah.
Especially given the fact that Your Excellency just mentioned about the difficult times that we went through, and we received a lot of support from different countries. So it's time to create a public diplomacy tool like PICA. It's time to create a new methodology to share gratitude, show solidarity, and to contribute also with some creative solutions to the global development agenda.
In India, people connect Palestine with Yasser Arafat. Immediately, yes, his pictures, his ideas, his visits to India, they come up very close to all of us in India. How you see his philosophy influencing PICA's work?
Actually, his philosophy is fully influenced in the creation of PICA, because PICA is guided by the slogan of solidarity through development and development through sharing, and living and actually contributing in achieving the agenda of 2030 and leaving no one behind. And this is the main principles beyond an important person.
So you see Paris Peace Forum bringing in some of these reflections and ideas forward?
Indeed. Our Prime Minister, His Excellency Hamdallah, participated in this important forum with the big delegation. High delegates from the government attended. And he conveyed a very important message from His Excellency, the President of the State of Palestine, about the support for youth and their important role in entrepreneurship and the sustainable development.
This is very important, Ms. Dima, because youth and entrepreneurship is also being emphasized by Indian government, because India is a country where we have a huge new set of blood that is coming in the markets and in the entrepreneurial space. So this is a commonality across the whole of South, where population is very young.
Would you
what commonality you see here?
Maybe I'm also first proud to mention that one of the projects that were shown in the solution space in this forum was a Palestinian project. So I'm really proud to bring this to our discussion, saying how important is it such projects. It's a youth project, and it's contributing to alleviating poverty in Jenin, one of the cities in the occupied Palestinian territories. And
we would have to stop here for a break. Don't go away. We would come back with this interesting discussion to carry on. Welcome back. In this section, we bring to you analysis which is not in your newspaper columns. We call this Beyond the News. As we told you in some of our earlier programs, there is something called as South-South cooperation, which means cooperation among developing countries of this world. One of the key agreements that South-South cooperation achieved was done in 1978 in Buenos Aires. So it was called as Buenos Aires Plan of Action, or in short, BAPA. Next year in Buenos Aires, the government of Argentina along with United Nations is celebrating the 40th anniversary of BAPA. So it's also being called as BAPA plus 40. We are going to discuss BAPA plus 40 in our today's program. Let's have a look at this report.
2018 marks the 40th anniversary of Buenos Aires Plan of Action (BAPA) and leads up to the second high-level conference on South-South cooperation, also called BAPA plus 40, to be held on 20th to 22nd March 2019. The Buenos Aires Plan of Action emerged from the adoption by consensus of Plan of Action for promoting and implementing technical cooperation among developing countries on 12 September 1978 in Buenos Aires, Argentina. In December 1978, the United Nations General Assembly resolved to endorse the plan and urged all governments and elements of the United Nations system to implement its recommendations. The General Assembly, recognizing the need to strengthen and further invigorate South-South cooperation, decided by Resolution 71/244 to convene a high-level United Nations conference on South-South cooperation on the occasion of the 40th anniversary of the adoption of the plan. The functions of high-level committee were for reviewing the progress made in implementing the tasks entrusted to the United Nations under BAPA and to strengthen technical cooperation among developing countries. BAPA lays down a plan for supporting new policies and innovative approaches to further the development of technical cooperation, considering the availability of financial resources and their effective use without prejudice to existing programs. The United Nations Office for South-South Cooperation leverages South-South and triangular collaboration to strengthen knowledge sharing, capacity building and technical assistance. In the end of November, UNOSSC will host the Global South-South Development Expo, the Regional Dialogue for Latin America and Caribbean on South-South Cooperation and intergovernmental negotiations in preparation for BAPA plus 40.
So, Ms. Dima, then I should start with you this segment of our program where we see South-South cooperation playing an extremely important role, and you talked about PICA. How you view role of PICA and other actors from the South in BAPA plus 40?
Actually, PICA is mandated to deploy the Palestinian know-how and experiences to deploy and create demand-driven solutions and adaptable solutions to the global South in order to contribute to the achieving the 2030 agenda. Also to contribute to having a resilient world united through solidarity, through development and through sharing. And this perspective behind is the main reflection to the guidelines of the South-South cooperation highlighted in Buenos Aires Plan of Action.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity nowadays, although PICA is only created since 2 years ago through a presidential decree, but it's time to take all the commitments to really contribute to this important forum and to highlight how we can, through international cooperation and through South-South cooperation, we can bring this further and we can really share experiences and we can share knowledge for agenda, achieving the agenda of 2030.
We are talking about South-South cooperation in more as time for celebration is coming in. But as you would see, there are countries within the South which have grown very fast and they are far ahead of many other countries. How you see a sort of governance within South-South cooperation, as we would hear Dr. Mazur telling us about G7 experience in governing what they call as ODA, the Official Development Assistance. So how you see scope for South to govern itself around the principles of South-South cooperation?
I can give a small example about PICA maybe. Given all the challenges we are facing as one country of the global South challenges, but on the other hand, given all the challenges we are facing due to occupation, due to the limited resources, we have this intention to share our limited resources and our knowledge within the countries of the South. So we have this intention to share, even if it's limited, we have something to share and to contribute to. So that means regardless how big is a country or how experienced it is in this technical cooperation or international aid, always we can really contribute to have multilateral joint governance altogether.
Mechanisms coming together.
Exactly.
That's right. Dr. Mazur, G7 has long experience, and you being so close to Europe, being part of the larger process, you have been seeing this governance of the ODA as we call it, all across the world. How you see northern countries promoting South-South cooperation, or as we discussed, the triangular development cooperation, how you see that coming up?
So we have to understand on both sides, in the north and in the south, that South-South cooperation is not in contrast to the North-North or North-South cooperation. All these components are complementary. So in this sense, we should promote South-South cooperation. I think now the most important challenge for the South-South cooperation, and we should try maybe to find some multilateral solution to strengthen this multilateral solution, is the role of the BRICS countries in the South-South cooperation.
Yes,
with emerging economies, then it's followed by emerging geopolitics as well. The question now, referring to South-South cooperation, is about the unity of the group as well. So in this sense, the best solution coming from the North would be probably to promote the multilateral framework for cooperation.
On this point, we would have to stop here for Book of the Week. And today we are picking up this very interesting book by Branislav, one of the key commentators on South-South cooperation. The book is titled as The South Shaping the Global Future. So if we are talking about global solutions and we are talking about the very idea of South contributing to it, Ms. Dima, how you see possibility of books like this and Branislav himself worked with South Center for many years with Dr. Manmohan Singh, the former Prime Minister of India, and with Julius Nyerere. Branislav helped shape the larger narrative around the concept, philosophy and approach on South-South cooperation. This book is a must read on the literature if one is interested on how developing countries are contributing. How you see the relevance of this?
Actually, first I'm happy to mention that I was lucky to acquire this book from your library in RIS. And I started reading it, and it's a very inspiring book. And what is important about it is that it's not a conceptual, historical demonstration, but it's also mentioning how we can take this opportunity of the South-South cooperation and how we can bring this further with all the different partners, including the Center, South, and all the other partners. So it makes me thinking about the Silk Road reviving
yes.
something like this,
yeah.
and really highlighting the how we can really, as the global South, all together shape the future. So it's
Dr.
very
Mazur,
inspiring.
your quick comment before we close.
If we know more If we understand more, then we may come to better solutions.
Excellent. On this extremely pragmatic and positive note, we close this week's program. You are seeing my handle on your screen, the Twitter handle. Do let us know your comments and ideas and suggestions. We would be back next week, same time. Till then, a very goodbye and thank you.